What's up, everybody, and welcome back. Back with another video. I didn't expect to be doing these so frequently, but when the news happens, here we are. Okay, so about 2 weeks ago, my colleague Paul reported that Microsoft's working on new webcams, and this is not all that big of a surprise. The last thing that Microsoft built in this arena was called the LifeCam Studio, which came out way back in 2010. And quite a few things have changed since then. For example, we have Windows Hello, which is a biofacial recognition login authentication mechanism. They got a lot of just newer sensors, better lighting, better what they call depth sensing, a whole bunch of stuff. And so Microsoft is reportedly building a new camera, actually two cameras, and as Paul was talking about with all this stuff, I was actually able to dig up the code name of it. It's called Bari. Bari is the code name. It's also referred to occasionally as the Aruba camera. And if you're not familiar with the name Aruba, Aruba is actually the name of the software shell that is running on this guy, the Surface Studio or Surface Hub 2. And so you'll see here, I kind of clip this together, but you'll see it here in a second. See that camera at the top? I believe that is the exact camera. It's a USB Type-C camera, and it's going to have potentially 4K. It's going to have depth sensing. It's going to have a whole bunch of fun stuff that you would expect. And I believe there's going to be a consumer version, and there's going to be an enterprise version. And I believe this version is reportedly going to work with the Xbox as well. Now, that is really interesting because, one, this is a USB Type-C camera, and if it works across all platforms, it makes sense to bring it to all platforms. And on the Xbox, it could do things a lot like what the Kinect did, allow you to log in, switch accounts, and do all that stuff. But I'm also wondering if this isn't going to have a mixer play too. Remember, Microsoft is trying very heavily to promote its mixer platform. And one of the things that's more difficult to do on the Xbox, especially on any Xbox, is stream. Now, Microsoft has solved that from a software side where it makes it very easy to stream games. But what they don't have, and what is popular, especially on the PC side on Twitch and all that, is having that webcam facing you, and so that people can, kind of interact or judge your reactions to the gameplay. And doing that on the Xbox is significantly harder than it is on the PC. And I'm wondering if this camera comes out, and based on what Paul is hearing, is that it is going to work with the Xbox, if this is going to have a mixer tie-in as well. And that way Microsoft can build one product, so on the enterprise side, it can just clip right into that Surface Studio, I keep calling it the Studio, the Surface Hub, that is a studio back there. The Surface Hub, if it can tie directly into that, or obviously they can put into any other type of PC. And then on the consumer side, granted, a nice 4K Windows Hello ready camera is a fantastic option. We don't have too many. We have some from Logitech called the Brio, and I believe Razer makes one potentially as well. But it's been surprising that Microsoft, which ships Windows Hello in just about all of their Surface products, does not have a standalone Windows Hello camera for people that don't want to buy that Surface stuff. And the fact that it would tie into this guy back here, if I could get my finger right, the Xbox, would make it a really interesting product. Now, the question is timeline. I'm hearing 2019, but again, these types of things could slip. It could very much align to the actual Surface Hub 2 launch date, which they're launching the 2S, which is the non-fun version this year, but the X, which was what I showed you in that video, in this video right here, this is actually the X. This doesn't arrive until 2020. So I'm hoping that we get the camera before then, because this would be a nice addition to the lineup. Now, the question becomes, what do they brand it as? Are they going to brand it under that LifeCam Studio name? Or are they going to brand it under the Surface name? I think they might. I don't have any insight. Marketing is one of those things that they can change right up until the last minute. But I could see them putting this under the Surface brand, calling it the Surface Cam. Allows you to tie into all of your Surface products, obviously, and the Microsoft ecosystem. And the LifeCam name doesn't really mean much anymore. It's been so long since Microsoft has launched a product in that category that it's not, I don't think consumers go out and look at the store shelves and say, oh, I'm looking for the LifeCam because that is what I remember using. But granted, Surface, they're a little bit more protective of it because they don't want to launch a crap product under the Surface name. But I'm kind of hoping that they do lean the Surface way, because then it's going to tie into all that stuff that you know about the Surface brand, and it kind of carries that heritage of having being of quality too, and not just another product that Microsoft is kicking out the door. So codename Bari, I believe it's going to have a 4K sensor. It's going to have depth sensing, which if you're not familiar with that, it allows you to blur the background. Microsoft has shown this off on Microsoft Teams, doing this with software. Obviously, having hardware aids serious benefits as well, because then they can do it hardware-wise and not have to depend purely on software. But it will allow you to crop out the background, which would be very nice for gaming, because then you don't have to get a green screen behind you. And so you get 4K, you get depth sensing, you get Windows Hello, you get a 4K. It's going to be a good product. I just hope that it's not overpriced. And so that is Microsoft's codename Bari. Hopefully we'll see that in 2019. Hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you guys right back here next time.